Hi, Noah Jr. You are listening to Lech Lecha. This is the Parsha concerning Abraham, he who comes after Adam and Noah. Okay, does everybody remember? We started the Torah with Adam. And Adam was the first one created by God. Adam received the commandment or the mitzvah, don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil or you will die. Unfortunately, Adam did eat, but no worries. God had a backup plan. A master backup plan. There were to be Noah and Abraham after Adam and his falling to sin. If you remember, what did Noah do? Noah got the 7 laws of Noah. And everybody that comes after Noah can either be a Noahide, a follower of the 7 laws, or they can go against God into idolatry, to serve the false gods. Noah recognized Hashem as God of the world, and so did Noah's righteous son Shem. Shem learned the Torah for 400 years, and nobody was interested in hearing what God had to say. Shem was a prophet of God. He understood what God wanted to tell the world. Nobody wanted to hear. But one day, Abraham came, as it was believed that Shem would find an Abraham one day in the world, and there he was. So after Adam fell and Noah came, saved the world, brought the Torah and the commandments, Shem went out, giving the prophecy of Noah's word and revelation. He found Abraham. Abraham became the first one to accept the commandments and the Torah by a command of God. God sent Shem to Abraham, and Abraham accepted. Now the name of the parsha is Lech Lecha. Lech Lecha means go for you. As God said to Abraham, Abraham, go for you. Abraham went, he brought his family, and finally he met with Shem, who at that time was called Malki Tzedek, my king of righteousness. Shem he followed all of the Torah commandments, just like Noah, and just like all the other righteous men before them. And now here came Abraham. He found his way to Jerusalem, where Shem was a king and a priest. Abraham came by listening to God, and Shem told over to Abraham all of the commandments that God wished upon mankind. So this is the story of how Abraham came to accept God as the creator of the universe, and he became what is called a Ger Tzedek, a righteous Ger, or in English you can say he became a great Noahide. Let's begin with the alphabet. Does everybody remember the alphabet? Let's go ahead and sing the song, the alphabet song. Aleph, Bet, Vet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Chaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pei, Fei, Tzadi, Kuf, Reish, Shin, Sin, Taf. That's all the letters of the alphabet. Now, does everybody know who the main character of the Parsha is? Remember, we said Abraham. How do you spell Abraham in Hebrew? Aleph, Bet, Resh, Hey, Mem. And the name of the Parsha? Lech Lecha. How do you spell Lech Lecha? Lamed, Kaf. But wait a minute. That's only 2 letters. It sounds like you're saying a lot more than 2 letters. The answer is, sometimes in Hebrew, the same letters in the same word can have a different meaning by the vowels. Now, if anybody has a book of Hebrew at home, go ahead and open it up. And all you have to do is look at the funny little dots under every letter. See those funny little dots? They look like Braille. Those are actually all the different vowels. So in the Parsha, when it says Lech Lecha, Lech means go by the vowels Lamed and Kaf, and Lecha are the same letters Lamed and Kaf but different vowels. One set means go, and the other set means for you. Go for you. Okay, does everybody remember the letters of the alphabet that we said are in the Parsha? Lech Lecha and Abraham, Lamed Kaf, and Aleph Beit Resh Hey Mem. Let's go ahead and think of some other words that begin with these letters. How about the Mem? Anybody know a word that begins with the letter Mem? How about Mayim, water, and the Resh, the sound. What begins with an sound? Rosh, or head. Aleph, well, that's easy. We said Abraham. Hey, Har. No, not a pirate, but Har, a mountain. Hey, Resh, Har, mountain. And the Beit, basically, what does the letter Beit itself mean? And that means house. So the letter Bet in the name of Abraham literally means house. And finally, the Kaf of Lech Lecha, a word that begins with a Kaf is Kesef. But wait a minute. You said Cha, Lecha. Why are you saying Kesef? The Kaf, if you remember in the alphabet song, it can make a K sound or a Ch sound. So we say Kesef, which is money. Or if you want the Cha, the word Melech, which is a king. So both the word Kesef begins with a Kaf, and Melech ends with the Chaf. And finally, the letter Lamed of the words Lech Lecha, like the L sound, we can use another word that begins with the same letter, Lomed, to learn. Now, does anybody wonder, what does Abraham's name mean? I mean, doesn't everybody have a name? Doesn't every name have a meaning? Remember Shem, the son of Noah? Well, what does his name mean? It's funny you ask. Shem's name means name. How simple is that? His name, Shem, means name. Noah, his name means to rest. Adam, his name means man. David, his name means beloved. So every name has a meaning. Does anybody know what Abraham's name means? There's a lot of different ways to look at Abraham's name, but I think that one of the nicest ways of looking at it is it's not just one name. The Torah teaches Abraham's name is two names put together to make one name. Let's say, you know the name Jane Ellen. Right? Some people have the first name Jane Ellen. Well, it's two types of names, Jane and Ellen. So Abraham's name is kind of like that. Bara and Ma. Ma means what, and Bara means created. Abraham's name is saying what is creation, or what was created. This is why Abraham, by being the Abraham that he is, he always wants to know, to ask God, God, what did you create? What is creation to you? Why are we here? Abraham wanted to know, where's God in the world? So in Abraham's name, Abraham was created to ask, what is creation? Okay, now that we're into the Parsha, does anybody know some of the characters that we'll meet in the Parsha? We have Abraham. That's simple, that's obvious. Abraham was told by God to go to the Holy Land of Israel. But who was Abraham around? Who was he with? Who were his family? Who were his friends? Abraham had all of that. Well, the first one you have to look at is Haran, Abraham's brother. Abraham's brother Haran died in the fire of Ur-Kasdim. Did anybody know that before Abraham left for Israel, Abraham proved to God that he believed in God all the way? The wicked men of the day had said they wanted to kill Abraham because he believed in God and they believed in foreign or false gods. They were idolaters. And they put Abraham in the furnace, and Abraham said, God, I'm with you. I'm with you, God. And God said, Abraham, can you take the heat? Abraham said, yes, I can and I will. For you, God, I give everything. Now Abraham soon would come out of the oven and nothing would have happened to him. It's as if he never went in. But Haran, the brother of Abraham, looked and said, God, I don't know the truth. Maybe Abraham's right, maybe he's wrong. And because Haran didn't believe in God, and the evil men put him in the fire, because Haran didn't have faith, Haran he fell to the fires of the oven. And Terach, their father, was saddened. Until that time, no son had died in the lifetime of their father. What were they going to do? Now you have Terach and Abraham, father and son. Abraham married his wife Sarah. Sarah had a brother named Lot. And God said, because of the fires of Ur-Kasdim, the city outside of Israel, God said, because God was saddened that Abraham lost his brother and Terach lost his son. They needed a new beginning. So God said to Abraham the famous words, Lech lecha, Abraham, lech lecha. Abraham, go for you. God was saying, Abraham, you can do it. You can go to the land of Israel. And Abraham went with Terach, his father, and Sarah, his wife, and Lot, his brother-in-law. They went to the land of Israel, and it wasn't easy. The land of Israel is called the land of faith. But hey, we know that Abraham has faith. One of the first things that happened to Abraham was there was a drought in the land. There was no rain, no food. So Abraham had to go to Egypt. And there he met with the wicked Pharaoh. Thank God nothing happened to Abraham and Sarah. From there, they split from Lot. Lot and his kinsmen were having problems with Abraham's men, whose animals belonged to whose food belonged to who. Lot didn't believe in the land of Israel as the land of faith. Abraham did. You can't go around stealing other people's food and making excuses saying, well, you know, the food grew there and this and that. Abraham was righteous. He wanted to follow the laws of God. That's why God said to Abraham, Abraham, you can do it. You can do it. You believe in God. You know the truth. And Abraham was there in the land of Israel. And at that time, there were many kings from all around who went to war in Israel. All of the famous kings of the day. And this is why God had to tell Abraham, Abraham, you're like a king. You belong here. The kings were warring, and Lot was involved in the scuffle. Abraham went to war, and would you know, he defeated the kings. And after Abraham won, he sanctified God's name. He said, God, I give all the credit to you. And Abraham found himself at the Temple Mount, Jerusalem, where the future temple would be built, where God would dwell with man below. At the Temple Mount, Abraham wouldn't be alone. Who was there to greet him? None other than Shem, or as he calls himself as a king, Melchizedek, the righteous king of God. Abraham and Shem, they hugged, they kissed, and Shem told Abraham about God. Abraham and Shem both traded all their knowledge about God and the Torah and the commandments. Abraham listened to the words of Shem, and Abraham understood the Torah of Shem was about being commanded to do God's commandments. In this world, God created laws for man to be righteous, to be good to God and have faith in God. Abraham did that. And Shem told Abraham everything he knew. And soon Abraham would be commanded in the first commandment that he would do, the commandment of circumcision. He was told to make the covenant upon him. And who would be there to help him do it? Shem, the son of Noah. Once Abraham did that, the whole Torah became clear to Abraham, now that he was commanded. It was at that time he became a Ger Tzedek, or the first Noahide to receive from Shem and from Noah. Can anybody think of what else happens in the Parsha? We know that Abraham had many tests. He had to go to Israel. He had to separate from Lot. Not easy. Not easy to separate from family and from friends and to go far away and listen to God and do the commandments even when it hurts. He had to go to the Temple Mount. He married a woman named Hagar. Sarah, his wife, could not become pregnant, but they had a maidservant named Hagar. Abraham married her, and they had a son, Ishmael. And it got even harder for Abraham because Sarah didn't get along with Hagar and Ishmael. He was not going to be the one to be Abraham's true son. So God told Sarah told Abraham they got to go. More tests for Abraham. He had to fight the kings. And eventually in the future, Abraham's going to have the biggest test in his whole life. He's going to have a son named Isaac. And God tests Abraham with Isaac. He wants to see to how much Abraham loves Isaac. Abraham had a lot of tests to do. But you know what? In the Parsha of Lech Lecha, we see Abraham defeat and win every test. He was told to go to Israel, and he did. He was told to go here and do that, and he did. He was told to be a Noahide, and he did. The story of Abraham is that he became the Noahide by listening to the words and Torah of Shem. And Shem, well, he learned from the master. He learned from Noah himself. Noah had the tradition that went all the way back to Adam. So as we said, Adam, maybe he ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But Adam fixed his ways. And he gave the tradition over to his son and his son and his son. All the way to Noah. And Noah had the 7 laws of Noah in his name. And he gave it over to Shem. And Shem stood in the new world after Noah saved the world from the flood. And Shem wanted one man who would listen to what Shem had to say. Who would want to believe in God. And they found that guy, the first Noahide, Abraham. Let's go ahead and ask some questions in the Parsha. Where did Melchizedek live? You remember? We said Melchizedek was Shem. And he lived, you remember, in Jerusalem. What was Abraham's brothers' names? Now we said one. Do you know the other? We said one was Haran. If you remember from school or from reading, the other one's name is Nahor. Where did Abraham get commanded to go in Lech Lecha? Now before Israel was called Israel, what was it called? The land of Canaan. In the future time, it's called the land of Israel, Eretz Yisrael. And when Abraham got to the land of Canaan, do you remember where we said he was told to go because of the famine or the drought? If you said Egypt, you're right. Does anybody know how old was Abraham he went to the land of Israel. 75. Okay, and now for the problem of the week. Abraham fulfilled all the mitzvahs of the Torah. We know that the Torah has a lot of commandments, 613. And then you have the 7 laws of Noah. So there are 620 commandments at least that people can do. So Abraham kept everything even before the Torah was given on Mount Sinai. Why then did he not do the circumcision, or milah in Hebrew, on himself before Hashem commanded him? And there are 2 answers that we can have. There's probably a lot more, but we'll go ahead and say 2. The first answer is a person gets a lot of reward for doing a commandment when God commands you or tells you to do it than if you just do it. The second answer is Abraham fulfilled or kept the entire Torah only after the circumcision or the milah. And here's a trick question on top of that. If you remember, Abraham was the first Noahide. And the Torah says he was the father of all the Ger Tzedek, or all of the Noahides. So Noahides today, they also are just like Abraham. They keep the whole Torah either by being commanded, by realizing that God commands them, or after a man gets circumcision, he has the whole Torah that he can do. And he will fulfill the entire Torah. And a woman, she doesn't have that necessity, so when she becomes righteous, she has also kept, she is able to keep the whole entire Torah. The moral of the parsha, the moral of the story is Abraham was involved in kindness. When he went to Israel, because God said, Abraham, if you go to Israel, you can do much greater kindness than if you do outside the land. In Israel, once he got circumcised, he could cook food for angels. He could teach all the people about God. He could make other Noahides. So when God says to go do something or to go somewhere, every step in the right direction is going to the Holy Land. If God tells you to go and you feel in your heart to go, then you should go and you should do the greatest kindness you can do. Don't just look for little things to do. Try to live like Abraham. Try to listen to God. And when people tell you a message and you think, is this coming from God? Does God want me to do something? If you believe in your heart like Abraham did, then do it and be filled with kindness. On that level, it's like God commanded you to do it. God gets super happy when God tells the people of the world to do something and they do it. There's no greater happiness that comes in the world. There's no greater kindness that we can do than to fulfill God's commandments in Torah. When we do this for God, God brings His blessing into the world, and everybody in the world believes in God, and all evil goes away. The more we try to be like Abraham and Noah and Adam and all the Torah characters, when we do what God says, then the whole Torah is given over as if we fulfill the entire Torah. If we can do the whole Torah, the world is fixed, and that's what Lech Lecha is about. Adam maybe sinned with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Noah saved the world in the time of the flood. When they came off of the boat, there was Abraham to accept the Torah, and ever since then, the Ger Tzedek or the Noahide, he lives every day a life of the Torah and faith in God to make the world a better place. Thank you very much, Noah Jr. See you next time.